My line is breaking terribly.
My line is
It's
breaking
really,
terribly. Oh my God. Let me see.
really bad.
Really bad. Thank you for. Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I apologize for that. I had to switch my internet connection. Okay, so welcome everyone to the Leaders Priority Meetup for November. And I'm so happy to be here with us once again. Last month, we didn't have like we didn't have a meetup actually in October. October was kind of like a roller coaster month between Live to Lead, and then I had some health health issues, and all that happened in October. It was just one roller coaster month for me, and we didn't have an actual meetup. So what we did alternative, what I did as an alternative was a live teaching on in our group, which I hope we all got to listen to and maybe got a bit of value from that as well. Yes, welcome, Constance. Thank you for joining. We'll see you. Yeah. Okay, so this month, like I said.
Thank you. I've been searching over everything.
Thank
you. I've been searching over the link all this while.
So sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay, so yeah, so because of I'm going to be sharing some content from Live to Lead. That's why we are unable to post this video on Facebook, but no problem. And I'm so happy you're able to join me here on Zoom so we can share, we can have some time together. And I was saying, I was in between doing a year review and year planning session for us, because that is very essential for leaders. This is a time when we do our year review. Most companies, they do their performance appraisals in November. Yeah, so and that's really the best time to do it. It's not, December is not the best time to do performance review. December is kind of like, okay, this is just like the last month of the year. So we call that, some people call it 13 month. So it's not really the time to do a year review. And we could do a year plan, like planning for the next year in December, but everything should end in November. So we'll have another session for that. So we can have a guided session, year review session, and year planning session. Okay, so I hope you'll be able to join me for that. So I said, let's just do a review. Sorry, and a sneak peek into Live to Lead, share some lessons learned from Live to Lead. Those who attended, if they are here, like some of them said they will join so they can share with us their takeaways from Live to Lead. I know we all got to know Live to Lead. It's something that it's like a high point for me, because not because I hype it, I share it. It's because I have this passion for leaders to grow, for leaders to develop themselves. And Live to Lead has been a platform for growth for me personally. Every time I look forward to learning, to growing from the amazing leaders that John C. Maxwell brings on his platform at Live to Lead. And it always takes me one step or sometimes several steps higher. That's why I am so passionate about sharing the events with people, ensuring that I get as many leaders as possible in the room so they can benefit from me, they can get value, they can get takeaways, things they can apply immediately with their teams and get some results. Okay, so yeah, welcome, Patience. Glad to have you here. All right, so if you can share your video, fine. Let's just see you briefly. Let's say hello. I know my internet is not very stable, but please let me know if you can hear me very well or if it's breaking at some point. Okay, so that's fine, thank you. All right, so that's where I am now. I'm going to be sharing some slides, just 1 or 2 slides with takeaways, with notes from participants, notes from speakers that we can all benefit from, and I'll be talking through those ones. You can also ask questions, but before I do that, I want us to share what is one thing that you are learning right now. What is a big point for you? Let's just go around and share what is one thing that is big for you, that you're learning, that you're growing on at this particular point in time. So let me look at the dashboard. I will start with Patience. I know Patience is just joining, but seems to be the first on my list.
I've got noodles full in my mouth. Apologies. That's why I'm not on camera.
Okay.
It's lunchtime here. So yes, what am I learning? I'm learning about the power of giving yourself permission to trust your own voice as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is so much noise in the world right now. Well, as you well know, Patience Ogumoro, I'm an introvert, aka visionary introverted woman, and noise and the external stimulus gets very sensitive for me. So basically, sometimes what happens is you are hearing so much noise and it then drowns out your own input. So the idea is, how can I tune back into giving myself permission to actually hear my own voice and permission to actually trust myself and do what I am thinking I want to do rather than what everybody else is shouting and doing and claiming it's working for them, because it might not work for me and might not be aligned to me. So yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Patience. And you're doing that so well. I mean, I see you do it. I admire you for that, really. And I think that's very important in the world right now. Be you, do you, and not the other person. And it's something we can all lean into. You know, my friend and our friend Tina was sharing on Monday on the comparison gap where we tend to look at what the next person is doing and say, oh my God, look at what Patience is doing. It's so nice. I wish I could do it. Oh, she's just got it. She's so into it. Oh, Constance, Choma, Neka. You know, we keep comparing ourselves with others and thinking sometimes it's positively in the sense that we feel, okay, I'm not really, I like what she's doing, and I think I resonate with it, and it kind of sounds like what I want to do. Maybe I can get mentoring from this person or that person. Maybe I can contact them to mentor me so I can get into that space as well. So I think that's where I see it as a positive side of it. You see somebody doing something that resonates with you and you want to be mentored. But we are all unique, we are all individuals, and finding that uniqueness and sticking with it. So some people say staying in your lane, and Patience is doing a great job with that, staying in her lane of, you know, helping introverted women. Although I've had this big question in my mind to ask her, okay, why women? We have introverted men also, so why women? Maybe she'll answer that at some point. So now that's a good thing, and I admire you for that. And comparing ourselves negatively also is another way we do it, where we start feeling less of who we are. We start feeling unworthy. We start feeling like, oh, I'm not there yet, or when am I ever going to make it? Oh, this person is better than me. So the comparison gap is really something we need to watch out for as leaders. And like Patience just said, be true to who we are and give yourself permission to trust yourself, to hear yourself, hear your own voice as well. Growing up, that's something I didn't do very well. Being an introvert myself, a very proud introvert, and starting to know myself, to know me, and to be comfortable with who I am, as an introvert, and aligning myself to that, not trying to be like another person. In fact, there was one time that it was like, okay, not trying to even speak like another person. So we all have our own way of doing things. So stay with who you are, stick with who you are, and don't try to be the next person. Thank you, Patience. So good. Neka is next. Neka, what are you learning and growing into right now?
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Okay. One of the things I'm learning right now, growing into, is to be calm in the midst of noise, in the midst of situations. Learning to be emotionally intelligent too. When things seems to be crowded all around me, I've trying to learn to be calm in that storm and see the good and the bad of it.
Right. Thank you, Neka. Thank you so much. Emotional intelligence, big deal. Yes, learning to become, it kind of sounds like what Patience just said. There is so much noise in the world right now, Patience. There is really a lot of noise. Everybody is speaking. We're all online. The digital space is so big, it's so wide. In fact, information is getting overwhelming. Sometimes it's like your head is buzzing. You don't even know, like bees all around you. The noise is really big, and learning to be calm in the midst of this noise is key. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Okay, next is Chioma.
Okay, hi. Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes.
Hello,
Yes,
can you
we
hear
can.
me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. So this period, I'm learning. Sorry, the room is echoing. I had to leave the office. I'm learning the power of conviction. I'm learning the power of my own conviction now, not someone else's conviction. And that, in a couple of months, it's helped me speak out more, because I've come to learn that boldness is birthed in the place of conviction. So I cannot be as bold as I would be in my own conviction with another person's conviction. So that has been my journey recently. I'm building more conviction for myself, and it's helping my confidence lately. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chioma. Yes, you're building conviction. So I'd like to ask, what are you building conviction? What do you need to be? Because conviction is being convinced of something. I think that's it. That's, if I'm correct. So what conviction are you building on right now?
So basically, conviction that I am worth every good thing that I want. So in career, in life, I've had a lot of life shaking, if I have to put it like that. Recently, I've had a lot of challenges, and sometimes it comes with a very depressing, you're not worth it. So somehow, God has really been helping me with some of the materials I've really been consciously working with. So my conviction about myself and my authenticity is growing daily. So yeah, that way it's helping me be bold more. It's helping me build more confidence.
Okay. Thank you, Chioma. Okay, so if I understand correctly, it's been your conviction about who you are and what you stand for.
Exactly.
You're
Yes,
building
ma'am.
that. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. That's really good to be convinced of who you really are, because sometimes we lose it along the way, especially when we are faced with challenges, we're faced with life experiences that are not so positive. Well, I believe every experience is positive. Every experience is positive. It teaches us, we grow, we learn, we come out stronger. Yeah, so that's so good. Right. Thank you, Choma. Yeah,
Thank
next
you, ma'am.
is Constance.
Okay, I'm here. Good
Yeah,
afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
yes, we can.
Okay, do I need to on my video?
Oh, that would be fantastic. So we can see your beautiful face.
I'm still in the office. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay. Okay, one thing I am learning, or I am helping. Yes, I am learning because teaching my son means I'm also learning. These few weeks he has been at home. I just decided to teach him about self-control, because he likes to snack while studying. So, and one time I went to Next to get some snacks, bought a rubber of mini-me, chin-chin, biscuits, and all the rest. So before now, I keep those things and regulate it. But this time around, he is 13 now. So I said, let me start teaching him how to regulate it himself. And I found out that because when I regulate it, sometimes when I keep it and go out, he will go and take some more. So it makes me to yell. And I know that yelling is not part of the strategy. So what it is helping me to do is helping me to regulate to speak more calmly when he makes me angry, and then teaching him how to control is it on hunger or urge or whatever thing I will call it. So I handed it over to him, and I gave him a time frame. The last time he was on holiday, it was a 1 week time frame. A chin-chin this full with biscuits. This guy finished it in 2 days. He couldn't regulate himself. He couldn't control himself. He finished it in 2 days, and the worst part is that he was surprised that he finished it in 2 days. When I told him it was in 2 days, he said no, that it was up to like 5 days. I said, no, it's not up to 5 days. So I had to go and bring out the receipts. So that apart, the next time now I have tried it, he managed to stay up to 3 days. So I was hailing him. So, but I need to do it more often. I'm trying to teach him, yes, you can have this with you. You can have the option of regulating it the way you want it to last, rather than eating everything all at once. Mm-hmm. So as I'm teaching him, it's also helping me not to be yelling, because there are kids, yes, but if we don't start to teach these things on time, a time will come when he will have his money, have his freedom, and he wants to eat the way he wants to eat. Mm-hmm. Then, I mean, I won't have control over him anymore. So for now, I started teaching him that we've been on it for like 3 months now. So each time he comes back from school, I take him to the shop, we buy, and I give it to him. I no longer keep like before and lock. And I'll give it to him. Once he finishes, if you're staying in the house for 1 week and he finishes in 3 days, that's it. Whatever thing you want to snack on, go and drink water. So it has helped me, it has been helping him. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, really good. Thank you, Patience. Thank you, Constance, for that. Really, yeah, I said Patience because I saw Patience comments in the comment and said awesome training for kids. Indeed, awesome training for kids, teaching them self-control early. I like what you said. The time will come when he will have his own money, and how is he going to spend it? Is he just going to spend everything on pleasure, on what he wants, and not being able to plan himself? I think that's a good one. That's a good one. Something to learn. So I've taken notes. Next person is Rajuno.
Okay, what am I learning now? Well, I listened to John C. Maxwell the other day. He said something that really struck me, and I've been asking myself, why didn't I get this? Had it been I had this 10 years ago, it would have been better for me. Those closer to you determines your level of success. I'm trying to invest my time wisely right now. Know the people, my inner circle. Do they live out good values? You know, so that's what I'm trying to learn right now. Invest my time in more productive things, no time for sitting down and wasting my energy on things that won't yield any results for me. And I'm also learning how to calm down on housework, because most times you put so much energy. The more you're doing, the more work you're seeing. Your eyes, I'm closing my eyes to certain things. I don't want to be seeing too much work so that I don't break down. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Rajuno. Indeed, indeed. Your inner circle matters. They can make or break you, and who you have closest to you will determine your level of success. And I love that part about housework. That's something I learned, maybe because I don't like doing housework. In fact, that's when it comes to areas of weakness where someone can get me that, okay, this is where I can really get Kate. It's that housework. And for many, many years, even before I got married, I've been dependent on people, someone else managing my home for me. Even as a single person, I had someone managing my home, cleaning, sorting, organizing, making sure there is food in the house and all those things. So, and after I got married, same thing for many years. And recently, the person that that's been doing that for me for the past 10 years plus just left, and it's been crazy. And she left in October. That was one of the reasons why my October was so messy, because I had to now start thinking, okay, how do I replace her? How do I organize myself and all that? Because I'm really particular about who I hire in that position to help me organize my house. So that's, and clean up, making sure things are in the right places. Because most often I don't know where things are. When I'm looking for something, I'll call, okay, I'm looking for this thing. Where is it? Can you help me find it? Sometimes late in the night, I'm calling, okay, where is this thing? So that's how bad I am in that area. So I don't stress when it comes to housework because it's not really my strength. That's an area of weakness for me. And I don't stress myself there. Yeah.
We're in the same boat.
We're in the same boat.
We are in the same boat. In the same boat. Oh, I don't like it at all. Kitchen, I regulate my kitchen. As in when I enter, 30 minutes, 1 hour, I'm done. Anything that will keep me more than that time, I have programmed in my mind. I get angry and irritated and all the rest.
Yeah.
I'm not alone.
No, you're definitely not alone. You're not alone there. Yes. So in fact, so you will guess that I'm not, yes, I like my house really organized, really neat, but I don't like doing it myself. So when I'm not able to find someone to do it, that's another area of stress for me. Okay, so thank you for sharing that, Raj. Next is Delight. Yes, Delight is here. Yeah, good to have you here with us, Delight. What are you learning right now? What are you growing into at the moment? Yeah, you're muted.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Can you? Yeah. Okay. So I thank you. I had some challenge joining us earlier, so I've missed a greater part of the meeting. So I would rather lean in and learn some more. So part of what I'm doing right now is growing, to keep growing, you know, looking at a couple of things I had set out to do, what I've done, what I haven't done, and then, but most of all, I'm being more grateful. I am discovering that gratitude should really be on the top radar, especially at this time of the year. Okay, for me. So I shared that in a women group yesterday, that in a time when there are many reasons to, you know, to feel low, economic wise, to feel low, purpose wise, especially when you're not hitting certain goals and vision. Okay, the wisest thing to do is to be grateful for where you are and what you've done, and then re-strategizing. Okay, so that's where I am right now, and that's just what I'm about. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Delights. Yeah, thank you. Gratitude, especially when we look at the year. We are already in November, and we're thinking, oh, there's so much I haven't done. My goals, the things I set to do this year, I've not really accomplished them. So I think that's a great space to be, being grateful for the ones you have done, things you have accomplished so far, and not really beating yourself up about the things that still are outstanding, I could say. Oh, yeah, that's an area of growth for us as well, for most leaders, not to beat themselves up a lot over what they have not accomplished. All right, so thank you everyone for sharing. Thank you, fantastic share, and I appreciate you for coming out open, for telling us about yourself, your pains, what you're learning. That's so good. I've taken down notes, because this is what I do in the Leaders Priority. I learn from everyone as well. I take down notes, what I need to apply, what I need to change, and the things that I'm learning from everyone. So with your permission now, okay, I'm seeing some Neka is saying in the chat, I just love this frank review of house chores, because sometimes when the house is messy and I can't fix it or get someone to do it, it affects my emotions terribly and makes me feel guilty. Yeah, Neka, you're at the space of emotional intelligence. Yeah, really, that's a space. House chores, I don't feel guilty at all. That's an area where nobody can get me feel guilty over. No matter who you are, if you visit my home and you think this thing shouldn't be here, this one shouldn't be, okay, please, if you can help me take care of it, fine, please do it. I have no problem with telling those who visit me to, okay, if you think the plate and my home, you eat and wash your plates, because I don't have time to be washing everybody's plates. So please take care of your dirty plates. You wash. If you're visiting, I'll tell you, maybe the first time you do it, and I'll say, okay, I'll excuse you, maybe they don't know. And then I'll start any urgency, please, in this, when we eat, we wash our plates here. So, so you get to do it, help me. I'll say, please help me, because I don't have time to be washing all the plates. So if you can just help me in this little space, thank you. Say very nicely.
Now that I know, when I come to your house and eat, I'll go and wash plates straight. So you know that I know.
Yeah, go and wash it straight. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me share my screen. I'm going to share my screen right now. Yeah, Patience says, I am hand washing plates right now off camera because my dishwasher broke down. Ah, thank you, Patience. I can't wait to get a dishwasher myself. I don't know, with this our interrupted power supply. Oh, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's go. Let me share my screen just for a bit so we can get to see. Okay, so I hope this works like I want it to work. Hmm? Okay, I'm going to start with this. Yeah, it's a bit all over the place, and I will talk about it. So I just came up with some, these are participants takeaways, things that I'm really big about asking people what they are learning and what they are growing into, because it helps me to compare my notes, especially when we're at events. It helps me to compare my notes with others, and it also helps me to learn from other people's perspectives. So when I asked the participants, those who attended, these are some of the takeaways which came from some of the speakers. Form my inner circle in my organization. So that was one of the things John talked about. He talked about the law of the inner circle and how to build an inner circle, which was really great. And he is also revising his book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. So the new version is going to come up next year, I think first quarter of next year, possibly in January. Okay, so form my inner circle. I think it was, who talked about inner circle? It was Raj, yes, Rajuno talked about being intentional about our inner circle. Who you have around you is very important. And I think it was Jim Rohn that said that we are the, I don't know if, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the average of the 5 people you spend your time with. You know, you're the average of them. So who you are, who you have around you in your circle is very important. That never give up on your dream, never give up on your dream. That is so key. Dreams are free, but the journey is not. To every dream, I have made up my mind to pay the price. That's what one person said. And I want you to look at this. If you can see my screen, yes, you can look at it and see. Now, we all have dreams. We all have things we're aspiring to achieve. And we all have things that we're working on. Sometimes it looks like that thing is not going to happen. And sometimes it looks like it's taking too much time. Why am I even here? I was chatting with a friend of mine who is starting a business, and she's invested so much money into starting the business. And at the moment, things look like they're not like at a standstill. Nothing is happening. And when I spoke with her and we looked at it critically, we saw that it may look like nothing is happening, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot of work she's putting in, learning, growing, building her website, developing a marketing plan, business structure, all that. So all those things are happening, you know, and that is part of the journey. So when we look at it and we say, okay, because the money is not coming in yet, because I'm not making the amount of money that I aspired to make by this time in my life. So that means my dream is not working. That means I'm not where I'm supposed to be. As long as you're taking steps, you're building momentum, you're focused on that dream, something is happening, trust me. You're building a foundation, and that foundation will stand sure. Okay, so what do I want? What do I want? That's something else. Now, be clear on what I want. The power of one more to always step back and ask myself, what do I want? And I'm beginning to value the power of one more, because we actually don't know the power of one more till we don't have it. Okay, so the power of one more day, one more opportunity, one more step. Like, your dream is big, your dream is huge. The power of one more person I can add value to, one more person I can coach, one more person I can reach out to. Who is that one more? Who is your one more? So every day have a one more phone call, one more contract, one more word of encouragement. That came from Ed Millett, one of the speakers, and I'm going to share with us my own highlights from Ed Millett. His talk was just off the chart for me. That was like the biggest one for me. But all the others were great, but Ed Millett's talk really hit home for me. And I'm going to share some my personal takeaways from his talk. So these ones are just raw, what people shared with me as their takeaways, and I so resonate with it. And the conference was very rich, inspiring. I'm applying the lectures on the value of listening in my company, team, family, and church. Applying good values. So people carry your legacy and not your company. God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the call. Now, when you achieve success once, people expect success the next time. Believe in yourself. Don't let the no stop you when you don't know. Let me get this thing. How do I get this thing out of the way? Okay, let me see. Okay. How do I get this thing out of the way? Okay, people don't know, people don't have to believe what you are saying. They have to see you believe what you are saying. That's really key. The power of conviction, like Choma said, learning to be, the power of conviction, boldness to share your belief, share who you are, and say it with conviction. Conviction, because oh, I think I've moved. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, I think the slides moved while I was doing all that. So I'll share with you the next one. So the power of being convinced of who you are. Okay, that's big. So those closest to you determine your level of success, your inner circle, and then applying good values. My biggest takeaway: what do you want to be known for? Number one, and what are you known for? That was Jeff Henderson on his four. What do you want to be known for? And then we'll apply myself to my service delivery to my clients. Okay, so with this, I wanted to look at this and let's discuss, what do you resonate with the most out of all this? What really stands out to you? What stands out to you the most? And if it's something you're working on, let me know. You can unmute yourself and share. Or I will call names if I don't get it. Someone come pop up. So
Okay, let me share.
Okay, thank you.
So while you were talking, what came to my mind was what's been said about what do you want to stand for, or what do you stand for? And I think part of the thing is, when I find myself in a group, I am not very interested in being the front runner. It doesn't matter to me.
Mhm.
But what what kind of happens, therefore, is that you can get lost in the crowd. And sometimes what happens is you think that what you're saying or what you are doing resonates with you. I'll give you an example. When I set up my business and I put a tagline, impact, influence, and income. So last year, somebody who's just started with the John Maxwell team said they wanted to have a call with me. And I said, yeah, what can I do for you and everything. And he got on there and he said, that this impact, influence, and income, he really likes it. He really likes that tagline. And is it something that I coined or what? So I said, yes, it's something that I came up with. And I felt like, and he said, but I won't mention the other person. He said, but the other person uses the same tagline. I said, well, I don't know about that. All I know is that I came up with it. But as time went on, I began to realize, no, you didn't come up with it. You've been hearing it over and over again. And it has become imbibed in your psyche. That's what they say about the subconscious. It controls your life and you call it faith.
Yeah.
And what happens is things you are picking up in your environment goes on into your subconscious and you don't know. So basically, I had to unpick it and I had to say to myself, is that the messaging that resonates with my calling? Does it link to my calling, or am I just being like everybody else? Because in a tribe, obviously, you speak the same language. The moment you are in Yoruba tribe and you begin to speak Chinese, people look at you odd. But sometimes you've got to speak Chinese because that is how you expose people to a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
Right? And you might be called to speak Chinese. So it's like if you are a Christian in the Bible, where the Israelites, when the Holy Spirit came upon them, what happened? They began to speak in different tribes. Now they differentiated and separated from themselves because of that from other Israelites, because now they had dialect. So people that came for pilgrimage from Arab were hearing them from Arab countries, from other countries were hearing Jews speaking in their own tongue. But that differentiated this set of 12 Jews, or the Jews in that room, from everybody else, right? So we've got to be thinking about, in the midst of this noise, where have you lost where your voice lies, your identity? Because you think that it's coming from you. That's why they say that's how conditioning can work so strongly, but you don't know and you don't see. That's how bias. That's why when you try to talk to people about bias, because they can't see it.
Yeah.
It's unconscious bias. So this is one thing that I had to ask myself, what do I want? Because those taglines are actually the transformation I'm offering my clients. So I had to change my language. It wasn't, I'm just flowing with the crowd, but essentially I had to dig deep. And that's why people don't do it, because you have to dig deep to find that answer. And I came up with my own something else. So I hope I haven't hogged the time. I just wanted to share that. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's fine. Thank you, Patience. Thank you for that. That is so key. Yes. In a tribe, we speak the same language. The moment you step aside and maybe you learn another language, or you set yourself apart, people start looking at you as strange. People start looking at you as, is she normal? Is he normal? What's going on? Have they lost their minds? I like that. Thank you for that share, Patience. Really knowing what you stand for, and be sure that even the impact, influence, income, even if that is coming from deep inside of you, that is what you want. That's how you want to show up for you and for the people that you're called to serve. I think that is so fantastic. That's good. And really knowing that this is coming from my core, this is coming from deep within me, it's aligning with who I am, it's aligning with my purpose, it's aligning with my mission, it's aligning with my vision. And that's so key. I like that. Well, and that's one thing that you hear Patience when she speaks, aligned. It's always aligned. Alignment is so key. And it's something I say a lot too, but Patience is really big on alignment, really big on let everything be where they're supposed to be and totally aligned. Thank you for that share, Patience. Good. Who else wants to go? What's standing out to you? What do you want to speak? Before we move on, just one more person before we move on. Okay, who am I going to call? Okay, after Patience on my dashboard is NECA, so I'm going to call NECA automatically. Yes, NECA. Okay, or you can post it in the chat, because I just recall NECA said she was where she was. She couldn't really share very openly. So you can post your thoughts in the chat. Let me move on to the next slide because of our time, because I want to play one session for us today. John's session is just because of time. Let me move on. That was like the shortest session. So these are my notes from, well, part of my notes from Ed Millet's session. So Ed Millet, he's an author, he's a best-selling author, he's a podcast host, he owns many businesses, he's an entrepreneur, and he's someone that you need to follow. He's about impact, he's about persuasion, he's about influence, he's about growing yourself as a leader and making impacts. He shared very powerfully with us at Live to Lead and told us a powerful story about he's not just himself, he moved from his father, his father's story, his own story, his son's story. He blended the stories together to just form a generational story of impact, of persuasion, of influence. Okay, so he said there is power in one more. We saw something similar in the former slide, one more day. So one of the questions out of that, there was a question that stood out. He said, if you had just one more day to live, what will you do? And I want us to write down this question and think about it and ponder on it. If I had just one more day, what am I going to do with it? And that question alone, I'm still sitting on it, I'm still pondering on it, and I'm still thinking about it and really leaning into the power of one more. So what do I do with one day if I just had one more day? It sounds like very little, but you can do a lot in one day. Yeah. And then everyone wants to be cared for, believed in, helped, and loved. He says everyone, like all of us, that's what we want to be cared for. We want to be believed in, we want to be helped, and we want to be loved. Everyone you meet. Then he says you're always making people feel something, and you have to be intentional about it. You're always making people feel something. So whenever you meet someone, whoever you meet, like you're always inciting emotions in people. Something is always coming out of them. And it's all about energy, the energy that you give out, the energy that you radiate, or we can we call it, we also call it anointing, okay, that comes from you. So you're always making people feel something. What are you making people feel? Are you intentional about it? Then he also said that great persuaders, his session was about persuasion and influence. So he said great persuaders are evangelical about their courses. Great persuaders. So when you're focused on a particular course, on a mission, and you become evangelical about it, like, we are as a person of faith, as a Christian, I am evangelical about my faith. I'm convicted. That's something that I'm open to sharing and talking about, and it's something that I do whenever I get the opportunity. So about what I do, evangelical, and that's also something that we are working on, especially if you're in that space where you're trying to, really define who you want to serve. You're in the space where you've penned down, this is what I want to do with my life. So the next thing is to become evangelical about it. There are some people, they are evangelical about climate change. Like some people are evangelical about, serving introverted women. Someone is smiling now. Okay, some are evangelical about leadership, helping leaders to become the best leaders. Okay, I'm back. I apologize for that break. Please confirm you can hear me now. Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Rajuno, can you hear me? Constance, Neka. Doesn't seem to be okay. Change this. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, oh, I apologize. Yeah. Okay, apologies for that break. Let me get on, let me just move fast. Okay, so I just need 1 or 2 people maybe to share from this. If there's something that resonates with you here out of this, let me know and tell us what it is. I'm counting to 5, and then I will call.
Let me quickly share my own before you count me in.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
I like what you are doing because it's good to make me put up my hand all the time. Anyway, mine is everything in your life happens for you, not to you. I like to ponder on that.
Right.
Because I used to have this victim mentality. People are doing this to me, people. And some say, not for you, not to you. And I have found that in my life that all things seem to work together for good. And it's helping me to be more peaceful. When people do things, I say, well, this is obviously going to come around for my good. I will just let it go. So that is one thing that stood out for me, to remind me of that and to actually ponder more on it. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Patience. Yeah. All things happen in your life for you and not to you. Yes. Really, just to get the learning out of every situation and then use that for your benefits. Lovely. Thank you. Who else wants to share? Okay, so I'm going to call Constance now. Yes, Constance. What's standing out to you?
I'm in the canteen.
Okay.
Please, let another person take. Let me settle down. I will take the next one.
All right. Thanks. So let me see. So just mute yourself. Let me mute Constance. Okay, Delight. Yeah, Delight, you can unmute yourself and share.
Okay, can I go on if she's not ready?
Okay, yes, yes.
But let me get the question.
Okay,
can I get the
so
question
yeah,
again?
so out of all this, what's standing out to you and what will you do about it?
When you say out of all this, is it what we've been discussing since, or people that
What
attended
is
Lead
on,
to
no,
Lead?
what is on the screen? Just what is on the screen.
I don't think I get you, sorry.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is one thing that is standing out to you and what can you do about it?
Okay, one thing that is standing out for me is in everything you want to do, give it your time. Over time, anything you want it to grow, grows. But you just have to give it the required time. And once you're able to do that, then you will see it taking shape. I was telling my husband this morning how being consistent on something, even though it's not really very clear of where you're going to, that at the end of the day, as you move on, once you're consistent, you will find direction. It will become clearer as you're consistent. And you know, being consistent means giving it time. I mean, if you're not giving it time, if you're not giving whatever thing you have decided to do time, you will not grow, and it's only time that makes it consistent. So that's it for me.
All right, so thank you, Constance. Yeah, give it time. Whatever you're doing, be consistent and give it time. Consistent and give it time. Thank you for that. Okay, so now one thing that really hits home big for me and for those of us in business, in fact, you don't have to be in business, whether you are a mom, you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you're a professional, you're working in an organization, or you're employed in your own organization, in your own business. This one, we are all in the business of happiness. You know, that one was huge for me. So we're all in the business of happiness, because whatever we do is, the bottom line is to make people happy, to make people have a better life, to just help people to become more of themselves. Like if you look at big companies, when a customer is not happy, what happens? When the customer is not happy, when those you are serving, your colleagues, your manager, your boss, your team members, when they're not happy. So we're all in the business of spreading happiness, of making people happy. Because like we say, in business, you speak the customer's language. We speak the language of the customer, we speak the language of the customer, and we are in the business of making sure that our clients get value, our clients are happy at the end of the day. So everyone in business, whether you're in business for yourself or you're working in an organization or in your home as a mom, you're in the business of making sure that your family is happy, your kids are happy, your husband is happy, your wife is happy. So we're all in the business of spreading happiness, no matter what you do. And that is really the only business that we do, spreading happiness. So we do it in different ways. So at the end of the day, how are you spreading happiness? How are you making your customers happy? Your colleagues, your team members, are they happy? So that one was a huge one for me. So with this, I'll stop the share. I want to play, like I said, I wanted to share John's video, John's last session with us. because it resonates with the entire Live to Lead and why he's doing Live to Lead, why he does Live to Lead. It was also something, if you're not a person, Live to Lead is not a religious conference, but it's very spiritual, and all the speakers are people of faith. They talk about their faith very, very freely, very openly. Okay, and that's one thing I love about Live to Lead, and that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of evangelical about Live to Lead. If I can say that. So I want to play John's session for us now. It's about 20 minutes, so it's not very long. If you just indulge me, let's just hear from John himself. Okay, before we share our last share and go. Just pray that my internet is going to be good. It's going to hold up. And if you have any question, you have something to add, now is the time. Just a moment, get this out of the way.
Identified as the world's most influential leadership expert by Business Insider and Inc. magazine, 6 of his books have sold more.
Please, if you can hear my audio, let me know. You can just raise your hand or let me know you can hear and you can see my screen.
Than 1 million copies.
Did you hear? Okay, thank you. I saw your hands raised. Okay.
Received the Horatio Alger Award and the Mother Teresa Prize for Global Peace. And he's made it his life's work to empower both the corporate leader and the community leader. His network of organizations has trained millions of individuals from every nation in the world to become a catalyst for transformation and to inspire others. Live to Lead is proud to welcome John C. Maxwell.
Have you had a good day? I am just so overwhelmed by the speakers and what I've heard and what I've seen, and it's been a great day. It really has. I started with the 21 Laws of Leadership, just taught 2, and I want you to know that the book will come out, I think, in the middle of the year, the revised 21 Laws, but we have done a digital product. In fact, I'm doing it now. It won't be ready until January, but I'm doing it with some key players, some other key people besides myself. And if you are interested in that, it's a beautiful training program for the people. If you're interested in it, you can go online. I think they're telling you behind me how to do that. And you that are with us in our different sites, you can pick it up, and I want you to have it, okay? I want you to have it, and I want you to use it for training. So I want to wrap this up today, and I told you earlier that I was going to talk about return on failure, but I'm not going to. There's a time when you just kind of say what I'm hearing and what I'm experiencing. It's just, after what Ed just said, I just don't want to talk about that. I would rather talk to you about one more day. When he talked about his father, of course, a year ago on January 4th, my father passed away. And he was a great man, 98 years of age, and lived a terrific life. And I didn't, when people said, well, I'm sorry you lost your father, I said, well, I really didn't lose him. I know right where he is. And I wrote a book. I wrote a book a few years ago called Make Today Count. And it basically talks about the fact that we have a tendency to over-exaggerate what we did yesterday. And we have a tendency to overestimate what we're going to be able to do tomorrow. But we underestimate today, the moment. It's always kind of like, if I can delay this, I don't have to get to this yet. And I had a beautiful day a couple days before my father died to be with him for about 5 hours alone and talk about the lessons he taught me. I have them on my phone. I look at them a lot. But I would put on my phone a lesson he taught me, and I'd talk to him about it, and then I would stand up and I would kiss him on the cheek, and I'd say, Dad, you not only taught this to me, you showed it. You modeled it for me. I saw it. I saw it in you. And there were a couple lessons that he taught me that have just kept me so grounded. And, you know, I think when you look at successful people, you have to understand that there were a lot of people that played into their success, that they didn't get there by themselves. And when I look at my life and I look at the blessings I had in my life, I realize that where I am today is because there were so many people that invested in me and poured their life into me and gave their best to me and helped me. And so it's not a single journey. It's a journey with many, many people. But my father taught me to take the high road. And the high road basically is that you don't treat people as they've treated you. You treat people better than they've treated you. And I can still remember I was in college. The first college I went to was, my dad was the president. I just wanted to increase my odds of getting through school. And I did. And when he gave me my diploma, he said, John, you worked hard all 7 years of school. But my father really built a wonderful school, wonderful college. But he had on his college board, he had some very difficult board members. And I knew about it, and I would watch him as he would be gracious and kind. I would turn the other cheek. He told me one time, he said, son, you only have to turn the other cheek when you've been slapped on the other side. And I would watch him, and it would make me as a young person very upset. I would want to kind of, I would say, Dad, you know, you're right. And he said, I know I'm right. And he said, right always wins. It just doesn't win on Friday. And he taught me to look beyond people's dysfunction and to give people the benefit of the doubt and to give people a second chance and to not carry baggage. He loved to tell me, say, travel light, son, travel light. You don't carry somebody, don't carry it with, in fact, he used to say, son, if you carry a grudge against somebody and they've done something wrong to you, he said, just understand that while you're nursing your hurt feelings, they're out dancing. Don't allow them to control your life, your emotional life, and your decisions. My mother was a librarian. And so I would go in at night and do most of my studies. And I had a key because Mom was the librarian, so I'd go in there and I'd just do my work when all the other kids were not there. And one night I was deep in doing some work, and my father was in a college board meeting. And he slipped in. He slipped in, and I thought, how odd, you know, I know he has a board meeting tonight. And he didn't know I was in there, and he got to a certain part, and he laid on the floor between some bookshelves. And I listened to him pray. And he began to call the names of those board members that were very difficult, highly dysfunctional. And he would call them by name. And he would say, God, I forgive them. I forgive them. I forgive them. It's okay. He slipped back out and went back to the board meeting. They were just on maybe a 30-minute break. And that night I sat in the library. And I watched my father turn the other cheek and take high road and walk the second mile. Release hurts and pain. And I said to myself, I'll never, ever be able to be that kind of a man. I don't have that within me. I so admire it. But that night, it changed me. It allowed me to begin to say, there's a better me inside. And there's a bigger me inside. And perhaps I should hunger for that. I never told my father that story. For about 20 years. He never knew. But who he was and what I saw marked me for life. Now, I was fortunate. I had an incredible father. You maybe have had a wonderful father. Maybe you had a terrible father. I have no idea. I just lucked out. I won the parent lottery. What can I say? But when Ed was talking, see, I wouldn't take away from that beautiful talk by something frivolous. I would just want to amen it and add to it. When he was talking about change, about the fact that things can change in a decision or in a day or in a moment or in an experience. And I thought, how true. And then I thought, how many of you covet positive change in your life? And how many of you covet to be a better person, to be more, to do more, to be the person that you were created to become? And I asked myself, and because I'm a person of faith, I asked God, how can I encourage you? How can I encourage you to see in your life what Ed was talking about that he saw in his father's life and his son's life? And I thought of a little poem. I don't even know if I can say it. It's just not big, but I haven't said it for years. But I just thought of a little thought that said, though you cannot go back and make a brand new start, my friend, anyone can start from now and make a brand new end. And my name is John. And I am your friend. I say it a lot. But I say it a lot because it's true. And the only reason that I do what I do is to add value, to walk slowly through the crowd and look at you and maybe say an encouraging word or maybe give you an encouraging thought. That's the only reason I'm here. That's the only reason we have L2L. We're in it for the investment of our belief in you. And I would not want any of you to miss the opportunity to in your life know that wherever you are, and no matter how bad it looks or no matter how dark it has become, you don't have to curse the darkness. You can turn on the light. And I want that for you. I want that for you so much. God created you for a purpose, and he designed you to make a difference. And I'm going to be bold enough. You know I would never violate you. You know that I'm a person of faith, but you know I would never violate you. I'm not even in any way wanting to be unkind. But during COVID, when I saw so much fear, I so longed for people to have a source of faith, a foundation, a rock, something to hold on to, something to embrace, something to personally lift them. And in my conversation with a lot of my friends who had no faith, they would talk to me about their anxiety and their fears, the pressure. And I would do this in confidence, quietly with them privately. I would not do this publicly, but I would look at them and I say, oh, I would give anything if you had my faith. If you just had my faith. And they said, what do you mean? And I'd say, well, if you just knew God like I know him. I would take walks during COVID. And as I would take my walks, I would read these words every day. Psalm 112. Praise the Lord. For all who trust in God are blessed beyond expression. When darkness overtakes him, light will come bursting in. Such a man will not be overthrown by evil circumstances. God's constant care of him will make a deep impression on all who see it. He does not fear bad news, nor live in dread for what may happen, for he has settled in his mind that God will take care of him. That change, that transformation, that life that you so desperately want to have, is available to you. It's available to every one of you that are on the simulcast. And so I'm just going to ask you to allow me to pray. And when I'm done praying, I'm done. And if you in your heart, you want to pray, you can. If you don't want to pray, don't feel you need to, you can shoot you. Honestly, it won't bother me. I love you unconditionally, regardless. You can't make me stop loving you, and you can't make me stop valuing you. It's impossible, so don't even try. And I know I'm taking a risk. I know that. But it's a risk I'm willing to take. Because I think I've been with you long enough to have earned the credibility to tell you there is hope for positive change in your life today. And I want that for you. So I pray over you now, Father. What Ed said a little bit ago speaks to all of our hearts. We want to make our life count, and we want to have the changes that we need to be the people that we want to become. And in our heart right now, literally thousands, tens of thousands of people in their heart right now, they are reaching in their heart for that God security, for that God peace, for that God stability. Because they were created to know you. They were created to know you. And this is just a coming home time for them. You know them. And I pray over them right now. I pray over them. I pray goodness and blessing and grace and forgiveness and life change and hope. Abundance. I pray that over them. I pray that for them. And I pray that they receive it in them. I'm asking God that you would do for people what they cannot do for themselves. That in this simple prayer, they would just reach out now to you. Because you're reaching out to them. And God, hold them in your hand. Unconditionally. Love and give them grace. Give them a peace that the world cannot understand, but the world cannot either take it away. And may you mark them. May you mark them today. May this be their day. That with your help and with your grace and your strength, they make the change needed in their life to be the person they truly, truly want to become. And may they not look at their past and their failures and all the wrong decisions and all the junk in their life. May for the first time today they realize in you is complete, total, absolute forgiveness. So may they set that burden of yesterday down, and may they pick up that light of today. This I pray in your name, because you're God, and nothing is impossible with you. Amen. I love you very much.
give you a blanket.
Okay. Did we get that? Hello, everyone.
Yes, the prayer was fantastic.
Okay, thank you, Patience. Thank you. Awesome. Yes, so what's our time is fast spent. I just want us to share quickly, maybe just one thing you want to share with us as we close from that session. Live to Lead is like I said, it's a time of value for me. I increase in value, I learn, I grow, and I invite people, always to come join me on that journey as well. It's a journey of value, adding value to myself and to others. So we have a rebroadcast on November 20th, and you can also access the recording, the replay for 3 days. Yeah, so you can pay and gain access to the replay for 3 days, or you can join us for the rebroadcast on November 20th. But we can also host a private session for your group. Maybe if you decide, okay, I just want a private session for my team, for my group, for my organization, we can do that, host it and facilitate it for you. But I just wanted us to get value for today, nothing, no strings attached, whatever. So let's share, what did you get from here? What is one thing that John said that you feel, okay, this is something I picked and I think I need to work on here? Yeah, Rajuna.
One thing I got from, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. There's an echo, but we can hear you.
One thing I got from what he said was, you might not have a brand new start, but you can make a brand new end. Set a purpose and design to make a difference. That's one takeaway from what he said. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think everyone can always, no matter where you started, everyone can always have a brand new beginning. The first time I heard that was in this cartoon, this animation, Kung Fu Panda. That was the first time I heard that quote, that you may not have had a brand new, a wonderful beginning. In that, I can't remember the exact words, but you can always make a brand new start from wherever you are. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Raj. So who else wants to share with us quickly?
My thing that I took away that's just going on in my head is right from the very beginning, that caught me, where he said people always overestimate or are rushing into a tomorrow instead of today, focusing on today. And it made me think tomorrow is not promised. So focusing on, but today is already gifted. So basically, you are not opening up the gift because you are so worried. While we were watching the film, I just went to Facebook and I put a quote there that said, worry doesn't need your permission. It just comes upon you. But positive thinking needs your permission to believe. So basically, and again, being biblical, Jesus was saying, not the hair of your head can you save by worrying, So the truth about it is, what he said was really resonated with me about the worry comes from tomorrow. Today is already a gift. You just need to open it, unpack it, and do your best. Tomorrow is not promised. When you get to tomorrow, it's another gift, isn't it? So that's what I learned.
Right. Thank you, Patience. Indeed, that's okay. Thank you. Who else quickly? Neka,
okay,
Delight. Yes, Constance.
Let me mention. One thing that stood out for me is the father's influence over him. You know, as kids in the home, or as young as he was looking up to his father. He was watching what his father was doing. For me, probably if the father was not the way he was, that he looked up to, that he learned from, turn out who he is today. So for me, my take is that we have to be intentional about ourselves, our growth, knowing that we have kids around who are also watching. We also have people in our household who are watching, who their success story or their becoming is tied to what we do today.
Yeah.
That's my take. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Constance. Yeah. Yes, Delight.
Okay. One of the things stood out how the father is able to deal with his heart, especially with people who hurt him. You know, people in his board. Sorry, I think there's an interference somewhere, but can you hear me, please?
Very clearly.
Yes, you can hear me.
All right. All right. So that really, in fact, I imagined it that day at Live to Lead, and just now looking at the video again, I'm literally inside that library, okay? And I can see where the man is lying. I can see where John is sitting. I usually like, probably because I'm a story person, my imagination is very, very wild when it comes to stories. So I can imagine where the man is lying and making those whispers to God about people who were making leadership difficult, okay, for him, and bearing them up to God and praying for them. That for me really stood out. And I know that as leaders, every other time you could just have people who may not really tag along or probably cooperate with your leadership. And you may have difficulties dealing with these people. And sometimes your emotions can just come out. You want to express yourself exactly the way you feel. But, taking that break, I am imagining him stepping aside from the meeting just to come do that and then get back. I'm sure he went back to that meeting with a very different mindset and would also relate with them differently. So the lesson here is, taking out time in the midst of some tumult or chaos or misunderstanding. You don't just have to be there and take everything, stepping out. Oh, please excuse me. It doesn't matter even if it is a minute or two, and just taking care of your heart and returning, back to that meeting more refreshed and with a clearer perspective. It's so key and important. That really stood out for me, and it's something that I'm looking to applying in my own life. And then the second lesson there is, when you pray for people who hurt you, I've seen this play out, that when you see them, it's like the hurt is diffused. Something takes away from how terrible you felt about them. And then there is this compassion and empathy, instead, that replaces that hurt. And now you may not really embrace them, hug them, and encourage what they did, but you will see them with a very different lens and probably treat them differently. Okay, so that's for me. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Delight. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry, yeah, we have to close right now. Yes, Patience, thank you for being with us. Thank you for the great shares, for your contributions. We appreciate you. Yeah, we are far above our time right now. Nneka, because I think it's just Nneka who hasn't shared. Neka.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Sorry,
so yes,
I
please
stepped out here.
let Neka share so that we won't leave her out. Just share with us your takeaways before we close.
Takeaway generally or from the video?
From the video, yeah.
Okay. My takeaway is about being a model to our kids, to everyone around us, whether as a leader, as a person, knowing fully well that, people are watching us. And some, particularly for me, as a mother, my takeaway is to model right. Sometimes I correct my kids and I go back, sit down, and I realize that some of the things I correct them, I'm actually doing them. So seeing how the dad modeled, a couple of things to him that helped him become who he is today, it actually hits me hard, and I need to go back to my drawing tables and do things right. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, so this has been a really fantastic time of learning. I have my notes here that I've learned. Thank you for sharing authentically and being open with your stories. Yeah, we appreciate that so much. And we look forward to seeing you on the next Leaders Priority, which is going to be on December 2nd. And I'm going to do a year-end review and year planning. So if you can be there, so let's plan. Let's just do a quick review of this year and do a plan for next year. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you in that meeting. I've also developed a guide. There's a guide that I'm going to share with you. So it's not just going to be talk, we're actually going to walk through it. Yes, walk through a planning guide that we can use for the entire year. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you then. Have a fantastic rest of the day and week. God bless you.
Thank you. It was a wonderful time.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Bye.
Bye.